This week on the RV podcast,
we introduce you to our friend Tom Mallister, who is an avid RVer with a profitable hobby. He flips RVs, and you'll learn how he does it and tour his latest.
plus the RV news of the week, the social media buzz, your RV questions, and Mike and Jen's RV story time.
Hello, everybody. I'm Mike Wendland, and this is my lifelong traveling companion and my bride, Jennifer. We're delighted to have you with us. And we're just back from our summer rally for members of RVcommunity.com. We were up in northwestern Michigan, just a beautiful part of North America. And it's sad to say goodbye to everybody, but we have a fall rally coming up in Texas, October 14th through the 18th. So we'll see everybody if we don't see them on the road.
Now it's time for the RV news of the week. And this shouldn't come as a big surprise, but Indiana's governor is praising the end of the Biden administration's Clean Air Act waiver that gave California the ability to force new sales of heavy-duty vehicles like trucks and RVs to be zero emission this year. Many in the RV industry felt this would effectively ban the sale of new motorhomes in California and other states that follow their standards. With Indiana producing 90% of America's RVs, the Hoosier state had much at stake had it remained in place.
Just because you don't see a cop in Colorado, it doesn't mean that you can't be ticketed. The Colorado Department of Transportation recently installed its first photo radar cameras, which will be used to ticket those who speed in high-risk work zones. The camera snaps a picture of a vehicle's license at one place and again at a second place. Then they have some computer technology that analyzes whether the person is speeding. If you're going more than 10 miles an hour above the designated speed, a speeding ticket will be issued. Program starts on Highway 119 near Boulder. Look out, there are electronic smokies out there.
Now we have a story from Yellowstone. The Turons just keep coming. This time it was a New Jersey tourist who got too close to a bison at Yellowstone National Park last week and was gored. This is the second person injured by a bison this year, and it comes after Yellowstone reported last month as the busiest month of May ever on record.
There's quite a mystery up in the middle of Lake Superior surrounding two campers who were found dead at Michigan's Isle Royale National Park. Now, a shroud of secrecy has enveloped this whole thing. The bodies were found at the South Lake Desor campground, and the National Park Service is just not saying anything other than they found them, they know who they were, they notified next of kin, but that's it. They haven't said a thing about the cause of death on this remote island park, which has wolves and moose. They didn't think wolves or moose had anything to do with this, but foul play is involved because the FBI was called in. Now, others speculate maybe it was a murder-suicide and they're just keeping the details out. But why the unusual secrecy? It's unusual for a case like this. Almost a week after the bodies were found, the government just isn't saying a thing. Maybe this will change by the time this podcast releases on June 18th. But as we record this, something unusual has happened clearly on that remote island, and all the secrecy is causing a whole bunch of speculation. So let's hope they release some information about this so we know what's going on.
Finally, we saw an interesting story about what senior RVers in Michigan want. And one of their main sources of information was the owner of Indigo Bluffs RV Park and Resort in Northwest Michigan, where Mike and I just camped at our summer rally. So what do seniors want? Full hookups, paved roads, a friendly staff, clean park, quiet spots with shade. Sound right? That's pretty basic.
Yeah.
Seems like that's what you should just get.
Did anybody see any surprises there? How about non-seniors? I think everybody would like that. But
yeah, the paved spots, I guess that's the luxury one.
We mentioned this story, even though there wasn't any surprises, because it reminds us what a great campground that was. We've had rallies all over North America. I think we've come up with 27 rallies we've done over our 15 years of doing this. And that's one of the nicest parks we stayed at, Indigo Bluffs RV Park. So the fact that they were in that survey made us say, okay, we'll tell you. But think everybody knows we want hookups, paved roads, friendly staff, clean, but there are a lot of spots that don't have that. So maybe that's a reminder to them. You want some more information on any of these stories we mentioned, or if you have a comment about them, you can reach us through the show notes. Just go to rvlifestyle.com/podcast and you can see the show notes for this episode. All right, this part of the podcast is brought to you by Keystone RV's Montana line of fifth wheels.
Our favorite state is Montana. We love it for its rugged drama, the wilderness and adventure it offers.
So when it came time to choose a fifth wheel, you can see why Keystone RV's Montana brand immediately caught our attention. For one thing, we know that Keystone brands are built by RVers.
For another, our Montana high country, equipped with solar and lithium, is as rugged as the state it's named after. Our Montana gets us out there amongst the drama of Montana's mountains. It takes us up close and personal and in comfort, right where we want to be.
We've taken it cross-country many times, traveling tens of thousands of miles from winter campouts in the snow to boondocking, and it has never let us down.
Go to KeystoneRV.com and see for yourself. Their RVs, like our Montana, are built for where you want to be.
All right, it's time for the conversation of the week. And as we said, we're going to introduce you to a friend of ours, Tom Mallister. We've known Tom and his wife, Kathy, for over a decade now, and we've camped with them all across the country. And as a member of our RVcommunity.com, Tom and Kathy were with us last week at our community rally up in Northwest Michigan. And we noticed that Tom was in a different RV, an older model Regency Class C instead of their normal Winnebago Navion.
And it turns out that Tom just bought the Regency, which he plans to flip. He and Kathy were testing it out to make sure everything was in top shape.
Yep. Tom's hobby is flipping RVs. And as we toured the Regency, we thought it'd be great to ask Tom to tell us how he does it as he gives us all a tour of his newest RV.
This was built by Triple E, which is now Leisure Travel Vans.
What year is this?
2012.
Oh, no, it's
And you just picked this up. You just bought
We
this.
picked this up 2 weeks ago in California, drove it back to North
You
Carolina,
don't have to do
and
it.
I'm now taking it on a test trip.
How
See
many
whether-
people have offered to buy this from you?
I'm sorry?
How many have offered to buy this from you?
One so far in Oklahoma City when I stopped and spent the night in their driveway. They
Is the
made
Regency
this.
brand still out there?
No, not under Triple E.
You're pretty much a solid Class C guy.
Well, we started in a RS Road Trek RS Adventurous,
Yep.
which was
That's when I first met you.
yeah, and then we went to the Navion after that.
From Winnebago.
Winnebago, and then we've had multiple Navion from Winnebago after that with different floor plans to figure out what's the best floor plan for us. And so, as a retirement hobby, I'll buy and resell one or two a year. So I've done B. I mainly stick with B's and C's that I flip. I mean, people flip houses. I'll flip a motorhome or two a year. It just depends on the timing and whether the deal's right or something like that. So I'll buy what I consider good quality units and check out all the water systems, electrical systems, repair things and update things and make additions that I think make it more user-friendly and attractive to a potential buyer. And so, I've done Heimers and Coachmans and Navion, Winnebagos, and I did Coach House one time and a Coachman. And
How many have you bought and sold over the years?
well, since I retired, which is going on 9 years, it's been a total of about 10 units over the years.
So it's
And that doesn't include the ones that we bought to use, thinking that we're going to keep them for a while. And then we decide, oh, well, that one looks nicer over there. Let's go buy that one. So we'll sell ours and buy another
So
one.
it's kind of an offshoot of your love of the RV lifestyle. It's a hobby,
Oh,
but it also pays for itself.
it does.
And I think this sounds like a lot of fun because you can try out all these different units, see what you like,
Yes.
and that you know what you like and you know how to tweak them
Yeah.
so that other people will be happy.
I hope so. It's like I tell my wife Kathy. I'll say, I do things to these motorhomes that people will never know I've done to them. If drawer slides or drawer catches or door catches need to be fixed, I'll fix those things. And so there's a lot, like I say, there's a lot of things I do because I know they need to be done. But potential owners, a lot of times, don't realize what I've done to them, and it's really hard to justify or to tell them what I've done. But they should be reassured of a good quality.
How did you find this one?
Earlier this year, I had a Winnebago Trend on a Dodge ProMaster chassis that I had bought and resold.
Oh, that's cool.
And I get an itch after I've sold one. Kathy will only let me have one at a time, so I can't buy multiples. So even though we do own a Winnebago Navion as our principal vehicle at this time, so I was looking on RV Trader for potential buy and resales, and I also look on Facebook Marketplace, and I go on RV Trader to search for Triple E, because a lot of people are not familiar with the company Triple E, but I am, because we owned a leisure travel van at one time, and I was very familiar with the quality, and I found this one in Southern California, basically one owner, great price, great condition, basically bought it sight unseen.
And you drove it all the way from California?
I flew to Orange County, California, and drove it back to North Carolina.
And then up here to Michigan?
And then up here to Michigan.
Did you have any trouble with it at any point? Anything break? Anything not work?
No, there are a couple of little issues. I mean, we had to replace a water faucet while we were here. I did that yesterday. The kitchen faucet was a struggle because I thought you could go to like a Home Depot and buy a normal kitchen faucet, but the supply line ends are different for a home versus an RV. So I had to struggle with that for a while. And then I found an RV surplus store in Traverse City.
Michigan, yeah.
Yeah, Michigan. So I bought that fixture that's there now and replaced it. I really wanted a pull-down unit with a sprayer on it, but they didn't have that. But we needed to get something to get water flowing again.
Now, this is a 2012.
Yes.
And it looks pretty modern.
It does. It does.
It's very fashionable. I mean, the floor, the countertops. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, this is a Corian countertop here. Yeah, the floors are in great shape. The cabinetry is, most of it is solid cherry cabinetry. It's
Well,
extremely
that's a little dated, the cherry.
Yeah, it is.
But it works
is.
in here.
But
Yeah, it'll be back in another week or two.
yeah, but it's in great shape. The leather that's in here, which is the ultra leather, is
That's
in
the
great-
triple E. I remember Dean saying the ultra leather.
Ultra leather, yeah.
Ultra leather.
It's in great shape. The flooring is in great shape. The ceiling, there don't seem to be any water leaks. Air conditioner is brand new, and it's ducted. It's ducted through here.
I really like this.
The skylight.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the old leisure travel van skylight.
Well,
For those of you who are listening to this version of the podcast, you should look at the video because we're showing all.
well,
the
this
stuff
one
we're
just
talking about.
has. It doesn't open.
Oh, it
This one
doesn't.
does not open. It just has the shape.
You know what a lot of people are doing with this is they're suction cupping up a Starlink Mini.
Exactly. Yeah. Right up in
it
here.
works really
But
good.
if you look at the thickness of this,
Yeah, the insulation. Yeah.
the insulation, this is actually a 4-season unit. They sell it as a 4-season unit because all your tanks are above floor, above ground. All your waste valves are above ground. They're all heated. And I can actually turn a heater on up here that will send heat back to all the storage compartments and also the water heater. So
From the engine heat.
from
and
the engine heat.
yeah. Unusual to see opposing slides. That's just amazing.
And
Looks
this
like
is-
a really nice. Does that make into a bed?
This is a jackknife sofa here.
So you
and
can
it's
put.
extremely. You sat down.
It's comfortable.
It's very comfortable.
Does it kick back? It doesn't kick back for
It
a
doesn't.
lounge.
No, this
Not a
just,
recliner.
no. This I'd have to
Yep,
pull.
I
this
know
out.
how they work. Yeah.
Yeah, but it just pulls out and goes down.
And-
There's storage
and a
under-
really-
A nice feature is having this round instead of
Yep.
sharp edges.
Easy to slide in the
Yeah, and
Does this
actually,
make into a bed?
it does make into a bed. This will lower all the way down, and it's held on the ledge.
Oh yeah,
here.
it's circular and it goes
The
up.
previous owner actually added a slide mechanism to it,
Very nice.
and then this will rotate.
Help you get in and out.
Yeah, depending on
How you want to
people getting
configure
in
it.
and out of it. Yeah.
And then let's go on through. Here's the
That's how much they open.
Yes, the awning style windows, so you can open up when they're raining.
refrigerator.
Yeah, you can open it up on it. I don't think anything will fall out.
Big. Oh, that's a big fridge.
It's a great fridge. It works
Wow.
extremely
Does it
well.
have locks for when you're bouncing down the road, or it
Yeah.
just stays shut?
No, it stays shut.
Okay, back here.
What it is
Look at the shower.
Yeah.
Separate. This boy, I just see so much of leisure travel vans here.
Yeah.
There's the bathroom in here, and of course the shower. Let's go to the rear bed. Look at that, Jennifer. You've got a hello there. You almost have a full-length mirror here.
So you got a his and hers closets. You've got
This is
three drawers on either side, and in the middle is a
Queen size
it's a RV queen.
RV queen.
Yeah, so it's 60 wide and 74 long.
Well, now that we've lost all the weight, we could do a queen here.
I would. The only
And
reason
look at the amount of room that you have to walk around.
you
here.
can get around here.
Yeah, and I like this little feature.
Dirty
Oh,
clothes.
close
Laundry.
again. Oh my God.
Oh,
A laundry
that-
cabinet.
Oh,
But I think it's a great use of space.
Should I just offer him some money right now?
Well, you got one coming. Yeah, so this door will open up. Sorry if I'm in the way. And it will lock close
Yep.
up here.
yeah.
So you're closing off the front. So
Full bathroom.
toilet, sink, another exhaust fan up there.
Yeah.
Nice cabinetry there.
Yep, and you've got tanks underneath, so they got to raise the
Yeah, they raise the
toilet,
floor a little bit. You also have a sliding door here for
for
extra
toilet
Yeah, so
privacy.
you got your privacy.
So you
And
can,
then you can make this a big suite
exactly.
because that's just
It's a
Big
nice
shower.
size shower.
skylight
yeah.
and shower. Yeah,
And this is all original.
that's amazing.
For 13 years old. It's
They built quality.
yeah,
Yeah, they still do.
they still do.
That's why there's so many people who just
I
love.
really like this.
Yeah,
Yes.
it'll
particularly
lock
in the
into
morning, you know.
place. Exactly. Yeah, and this if you want total privacy in here.
Yeah.
It's
So
really nice.
you're not sure whether you're going to sell it or keep it, but
We're not sure yet.
yeah,
I'm betting he sells it.
I think so too. I think he'll probably.
I think Kathy likes the bigger galley area in our Winnebago Navion than what's in here. But
Tom McAllister, you have made the RV lifestyle and the joy of it not only, like you say, a hobby, but a hobby that pays for itself. And it was a lot of fun.
Don't tell Uncle Sam.
I won't tell Uncle Sam. Well, Uncle Sam doesn't listen to the RV podcast. So.
But let me
But,
get in
well,
there.
thank you for
Yeah, Mike.
showing us this.
Yeah,
This is
our
awesome.
pleasure. Our pleasure.
Isn't this amazing?
Amazing. Very nice.
I think they like that Regency. I wonder if they're going to really flip that one.
Oh, maybe they'll keep it for a while, and it's, I think, in their blood to flip.
Yeah, yeah. But it's a great thing to do. Tom has been doing this now for a number of years, and it's something you can do too. We thought you'd all enjoy that. Now, we recorded that obviously on video up at our rally last week. You can see it in the video version of this podcast on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/RV Lifestyle. Hey, have you ever considered owning your own RV land? Check out, we've got 2 spots to tell you about, one in Arizona, one in Tennessee. Kentucky Lake is one of the most visited sites in Tennessee. It's one of the biggest lakes east of the Mississippi and a great vacation spot, perfect for RVers. Tennessee Land and Lake is launching a grand opening of new property at the lake. They're big properties that allow for RVs near Paris Landing State Park, right near the marina, golf courses, resorts, and a slew of other great attractions. It's one of the most popular parts of the lake where it's at its widest and a really beautiful spot. There are large acreage, 5 to 29 acre sites in size, designed for privacy at great prices for the area with dedicated private access to Kentucky Lake. It's an ideal setup for RVers. Prices start at $99,900, and they've got woods and fields and views, cottages, and more with electric and high-speed internet. You can get details and a video tour at rvlands.net. Visit rvlands.net to get started. It's pretty incredible. We just heard about a land offering out west for RVers in Arizona. They're selling 5-acre RV ranches starting at only $49,900. It looks amazing. It is at high elevation, so you get cooler temperatures, big mountain views, juniper trees, and green grasses. And it is near everything: the Grand Canyon, Lake Havasu, Kingman, Flagstaff, and Sedona. It's a perfect place to have a home base to explore the West, and it is right off famous Route 66. It's called Greenwood Ranches, and this is the second and final section of the community. We met the sales manager, really nice guy. He bought a property for his RV, and he's building a container home on it. Check out their website for a video tour and showing availability. It's pretty incredible.
Visit the website to get details and set up a showing, ArizonaRVland.net. That's ArizonaRVland.net.
The social media buzz.
Wendy Boyer reports on the hot issues most talked about this past week on social media and our RV lifestyle community group.
Hi, everybody. Over in our Facebook group, lots of conversations have taken off, but one that got a lot of traction was from Krista, and it was about drinking water. She wrote, "Hey everyone, I'm a water snob. I will not drink water that tastes bad. So my question is, what do you do for water in your RV? Do you find that the water filter hooked up to the hose is good enough? Do you buy drinking water and only use the tap water for washing and cooking?" And she writes these questions because she's going to be going full-time later this year. And for all of her camping experience so far, she's been bringing water bottles and she's seeing how that's going to get old. And so this question just really got people talking, and it's a common concern, it turns out. We all get the water filters, whether it be a good hose coming in or maybe something under the sink, but let's face it, sometimes the water still tastes funky. So what to do? Well, there were 3 different filters that came up, so I wanted to share them with you in case it could help someone. The first one was the Brita filters. Many people said they get this from, anywhere and just fill it up from their RV sink in their kitchen and then keep it on the counter or the fridge. The second one was the zero water pitcher. This one got some really strong recommendations. One person said that they have it at home as well, and that person was on a well, has high iron and sulfur, and says it all gets removed and they have this clear, wonderful tasting water through the zero water filter. And it turns out that filter is a 5-stage ion exchange filter system. And again, it's kind of like the Brita. You just fill it up from your sink. You can put it in the counter or put it on the fridge. But the number one recommendation in this category was the Berkey. Berkey is a water filter. Also, you fill it up, you can leave it on your sink, but it's a more expensive unit. It's pretty big. It's made of a stainless steel, and it has filters inside of it, and many people said this is just the best water they've ever had, and they use it at any campground, any RV park, no problems with the taste. So those are 3 different water filters that your fellow RVers use. I hope that can give someone some ideas, and would love to hear from you. What's your favorite filter? Do you even use one when you go camping? What works? And hopefully we can help one another, and hopefully these suggestions can help Krista. And that's it for me this week. I'm Wendy Boyer, and I'll see you either in our private community or on Facebook.
Those water filters are pretty much a standard now for most RVers. Everybody gets tired of just hooking up to the spigot, and this never quite tastes as good as when you get a real filter like those. Anyway, thanks, Wendy, for that. And for all of you who may be curious about what this RV community we keep talking about is, listen up.
We have an invitation for you. It's an invitation to have fun, make friends, and find adventure by joining us at rvcommunity.com. And that's our private online community created exclusively for RV enthusiasts, away from the noise and the nastiness. You know what it's like on public social media, like Facebook. We truly believe that the journey is always better together.
And at rvcommunity.com, you're connecting with RVers who share your passions, from boondocking under the stars to swapping campfire recipes, capturing stunning landscapes through your camera lens, or even traveling with your 4-legged co-pilots.
With over 24 special interest RV groups, there is a space for everybody. And best of all, there are no ads, no distractions, just real conversations and genuine friendships.
But that's not all. Join us at 3 exclusive rallies every year, held in breathtaking locations across North America. Share stories, learn from experienced travelers, and create unforgettable memories, because RVing is about the people you meet.
Now, you'll get direct access and coaching from Jen and I. We do regular live streams just for the community. There's instant chat. There's meetups in local areas and regional spots. And you're not just joining a community, you're becoming truly part of an RV family.
Come check us out at rvcommunity.com for more information. We're all about 3 things: having fun, making friends, and finding adventure.
That is how we live every day in the RV lifestyle community, because life's greatest moments happen when you dare to explore.
Now, the question of the week. Hi, Mike and Jen. We watch your channel and could use some help with an RV trip from the Florida Panhandle, Panama City, to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. We would like to be in the UP in September 2026. How are the bugs? Are stores still open? Are there events going on that time of year? And that's from Ann.
Wow, Ann, you are an early planner. 2026, September, over a year away, you're planning? Well, whether you go in 2026 or 2025, September in the UP is, we think, the absolute best time of year.
My favorite time.
Yeah. There are no bugs. The bugs are all gone. The days are generally warm. The trees are starting to turn, so that's gorgeous up there. The evenings are comfortably cool. And did we mention again, there's no bugs? There are none. The crowds are not much up there. And yes, things are usually open in the UP until mid-October. That's when they start to shut down for the winter season. All right, here's a video question that came in from Brad Olson. And Brad had some questions about when he leaves his RV in places where it's going to be stored or kept and not being immediately used for camping.
Hi, Mike and Jen. This is Brad Olson from Minnesota. Something I've been always wondering is that in between trips in the RV, what's the best way to maintain the battery? Do I leave it connected to shore power? Is one option. My second option is let the solar panels charge the batteries, or do battery disconnect? Oh, but we can't disconnect just yet. Thanks again, Mike and Jen, for all you do.
I like getting questions like that from our viewers and listeners. You can send them to us. Just record a video of you asking the questions. Record it in landscape mode, not portrait mode, though, and send it in to us. Mike and Jen at rvlifestyle.com. We love sharing your stories and your pictures, too. But as to Brad's question, if you're leaving it in the driveway between trips, just leave it connected to shore power. If you're going to keep maybe a few weeks between trips, you can unplug it and let the solar panels trickle charge those batteries. If you're going to be storing it like for a whole season, a long time, disconnect the battery. In our case, we put a 30 amp and a 50 amp supply for our fifth wheel and for our motorhome, and we keep them plugged in all the time. Okay, we got a little bit of electric usage, but if we're not using them, it's nice. We're surprised how many times we go in the RV when we're not camping in it, just to hang out. Sometimes I've been known to take a nap in it from time to time. So we leave ours plugged in all the time, just for convenience. One of the things, when you do disconnect or you're just trickle charging with solar, know that there's always some drain on the battery. They call it parasitic drain. The CO2 filters, smoke alarms, they may take a little bit. You might have entertainment system that's connected to 12 volts, and that'll drain some. There's always some drain. If you have lithium batteries, that's not much of a worry. The solar's always going to keep them charged up enough. But in our case, what we do is we just leave it plugged in because it's easier that way. I am lazy at heart. All right, it's time now for Mike and Jen's story time, and we call this one Lost in Tennessee, a GPS cautionary tale. Do you know how they say that technology will make your life easier? Let me tell you about the time Jennifer and I learned that lesson the hard way. We were in the middle of very rural Tennessee with our 35-foot fifth wheel in tow.
We'd been RVing for many years by then, feeling pretty confident about our setup. We were using a GPS app on Mike's phone. I don't remember whether it was Apple Maps or Google Maps, but on dozens of previous trips, it had worked just fine. So we were admittedly a little complacent.
Famous last words, right? We'd been camping deep in the boonies in Middle Tennessee. And to get there, we had vectored ourselves in through one of the apps. The previous night, we were in a fairly large area with good cell phone coverage, and we got the directions to the place where we were going to spend the night on the app. It took us there great. But the day we left, I opened the app, and I was going to plug in our next destination, and I couldn't connect because there was no cell service, thus no internet. It was not good.
So we started out on the road. We came in on hoping to connect as we tried to remember how we got there from a main highway.
We're suddenly on these narrow gravel roads that barely fit our truck. I'm sure I missed a turn someplace or took a turn that I didn't take coming in. Pulling the fifth wheel behind us, it was white knuckled all the way. There was no shoulders, just these steep drop offs on both sides of the road, rock faces on some other parts of it. And that road was like a washboard, bumpity, bumpity, bump with potholes that I swear could swallow a small car.
Our poor rig was bouncing around like a ping pong ball, and I'm white knuckling it in the passenger seat, trying not to look at the side mirrors showing how close we were to the edge. Mike just slowed way down.
Our GPS app just sat there spinning. Nothing. Nada. Zip.
What do you mean there's no signal? Mike asked the phone, like it was going to answer back. That's when we learned something important. Sure, GPS satellites are always up there doing their jobs, but these apps need cell service to download the actual maps. And without that connection, you're basically holding a very expensive paperweight.
So we were stuck in this maze of gravel roads that all looked exactly the same. Every turn seemed to lead to another identical stretch of washboard torture. It was like we'd entered the Bermuda Triangle of cell towers.
Our trusty state highway maps, the paper kind your parents used, was completely useless. These little back roads didn't even exist on that thing. So there we were using our truck's compass like we were Lewis and Clark, trying to head generally east and hoping for the best.
For over an hour, we drove around in circles. Not literal circles, but it seemed like it. The roads were just really twisty. You get the idea. We'd think that we're making progress, then we'd end up going in a direction that we didn't want.
Finally, we got enough signal for the app to download the map data. Turns out we'd been about 2 miles from a proper highway the whole time, but those 2 miles felt like crossing the Sahara Desert.
Later, after getting to our next destination and enjoying good internet, we did some research and we realized we could have avoided this whole adventure if we had just forgotten about the app and used a dedicated GPS unit, those Garmin or Magellan devices that have all their maps stored right on the device. No cell service required.
Now, a few years later, we have a better solution, Starlink. With Starlink, we now have a direct internet connection via Wi-Fi and thus could have downloaded those maps needed to work.
So the moral of the story.
Don't put all your navigational eggs in one smartphone basket. When you're hauling thousands of pounds of your home behind
Let's do
you.
that again. So it's a little...
The moral of the story? Don't put all your navigational eggs in one smartphone basket. When you're hauling thousands of pounds of your home behind you, redundancy is your friend. Get a dedicated GPS unit, download your maps beforehand, or invest in a Starlink system.
Because sometimes the scenic route is the only scenic you need to know. Because sometimes the scenic route is only scenic if you actually know where you're going. You got a comment or question? You can reach us at Mike and Jen at rvlifestyle.com. And that's this week's podcast. We'll be back next week with more. Thanks for watching and listening.
Happy trails.